Hello everyone, my name is Pablo Rosso, and today I will be presenting how large language models combined with retrieval augmented generation are transforming the way that we interact with data. And to make this more practical, I will also show a real world application that I built in another class. So traditionally, data analysis requires technical skills such as SQL, Python, or data visualization tools. This creates a barrier for many business users who need insights but don't have a technical background. In most organizations, if someone wants to answer a simple question using data, they often need to rely on a data analyst, which slow down decision-making process. For example, imagine a manager who wants to know what are the top 5 products by sales last month. To answer this, they would typically need to request the data, wait for an analyst, run a SQL query, and generate the report. So this process can take hours or even days for a simple question. This is where large language models, or LLM, come in. They are AI models trained on massive amounts of text data that allow them to understand and generate human-like language. Tools like ChatGPT, developed by OpenAI, have made it possible for users to interact with systems using natural language. Instead of writing code, users can simply ask questions. They are not just for generating text, they can also function as a data tools. For example, they can generate SQL queries. However, they have a major limitation. They can sometimes generate incorrect or misleading information, a problem known as hallucination. This happens because they are not inherently connected to real structured dataset. So while they are powerful, they are not always reliable on their own. This is where retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, becomes important. RAG combines a language model with a real database. Instead of generating answers purely from memory, the system first retrieves relevant data and then generates a response based on that data. The process, how RAG works. So the process works in 4 simple steps. First, the user asks a question. Second, the system searches a database for relevant information. Third, it retrieves the most relevant data. And finally, the LLM generates a response based on that data. This means the model is no longer guessing, it is grounded in real data. So to demonstrate this concept, I built a real-world application in my class of capstone. We are in a project with 2 team members, and we had to create an e-commerce platform to sell perfumes, but the client wants to also build a chatbot that serves as a sales assistant. So for example, the client go to a website and give to a chatbot his preference, and then the chatbot is gonna generate a recommendation based on the preference of the client. So the system uses a structured data set of perfumes that we have, a chatbot interface, and a RAG-based approach. So the goal is to generate personalized recommendations based on user preference. To demonstrate this concept, I built a real-world application, an AI-powered perfume recommendation system, as I mentioned before. This system uses a structured data set of perfumes, a chatbot interface, and a RAG-based approach. The goal is to generate personalized recommendation based on user preference. So now I will show a quick demo of how the system works. As you will see, the user can interact with the chatbot using natural language, and the system will generate recommendations based on real data. For example, the user might say, I want a sweet perfume for a date under 100 for women. So the system identifies key preferences such as price, occasion, and the dataset filters relevant products and generates the final recommendations. The important part here is that the recommendations are not generated randomly. They come directly from the dataset. So as you can see, this is the final recommendation. It is also generating a new link where the client can go and click on it, and it is gonna take the client to a new website or a new landing page where the client can go and buy the product. Why RAG matters? This approach provides several key advantages. So the first one is it prevents hallucinations. It also improves accuracy. It also ensures responses are based on real data. Also, it scales well for business applications. So this is why many modern AI systems are moving forward RAG architectures. In fact, major companies are already using this approach. So, for example, Microsoft integrates LLM into tools like Copilot to assist with data analysis. Similarly, Google uses them in its data platforms to help users query data using natural language. This shows that this is not just a concept, it is already being applied in industries. So this is supporting business intelligence, this is supporting the customer, and it is also helping with data analytics automation. In terms of advantage versus limitations, there are a lot of trade-offs. In terms of advantage, we're gonna be able to get faster insights, also easier interaction. So it is gonna be easier to interact with the platforms. Also, it is more accessible. And in terms of limitations, it depends on data quality. So we have to make sure that the data is accurate and well organized. It also requires system design. So it is mentioned the RAG pipeline concept, and it still requires human validation. So it is not 100% autonomous. It depends on the human validation to support the performance. In terms of final takeaways, I will say to conclude that LLMs are transforming how we interact with data by enabling natural language communication. However, on their own, they are not always reliable. As I mentioned before, we have to make sure to do a real human validation. By combining LLMs with RAG, we can build systems that are both powerful and accurate. So we have to make sure that the data set is accurate and well organized. So to finalize, I will say that the future of data analysis is not just writing code, it is having conversation with data. This is a topic that really interested me because I already applied in a project before, as I mentioned in my capstone class. So I had a little bit of knowledge about this topic. That was the reason why I decided to explain it. And thank you for your time, and see you next time.